Hi everybody, I'm Leah of CJ Drill, and we're here with Zillow today, and we're going to be doing texturing. Now what is it? Well, texturing is a way to add an artistic flair to any wall or ceiling in your home. Now the way we do that is with a product called joint compound. Now this is pre-mixed joint compound, so we're going to have to add a little water to it to get it to the consistency where we can really work with it. Joint compound's a lot like plaster, but it's not really plaster. We're going to use a drill here with a mixing wand to really mix it up. Now, as you notice, I've got some tools out here, and I'm going to demonstrate how to use various tools to get different looks. We've got a roller with a pattern cut in it, we've got a brush, we've got a sponge, and then we've got various trowels and taping knives. These all give different looks. So let's get started. Now we're going to start off with the joint compound. Remember I said you use pre-mixed joint compound, but you've got to add a little water to it to get it to the right consistency. And what's the right consistency? Well, it all depends on the design you're going to put on your wall. If you want a very detailed design, the consistency of the joint compound should be heavier, like peanut butter, okay? And if you want a less defined pattern on your wall, you'll want something a little lighter, like pancake batter. How's that? You're just going to have to tweak it a little bit and see what works best for you. Now, we've got our wall here, and our wall has been primed, and you're going to want to do the same. If you're not certain about the primer to use, just make certain you ask in the paint store what primer is best to be used with joint compound. Okay, so I've got my joint compound thinned to the consistency that we want. It's kind of medium, all right? I'm going to roll it on my roller here. Now what I have is I just have a regular paint roller. It's a 1/2 inch nap, and nap means the thickness of the roller. Okay, so you want at least a 1/2 inch. Now I'm just going to roll, and I'm going to show you that actually by rolling on the joint compound, that could be a texture. That's called an antique. And you could just roll on an entire wall or an entire ceiling just with a paint roller. But you know, a lot of people like to be more fancy than that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll that out just a little bit more, because what we're going to do is we're going to put a design in there. Roll that out. Now that's pretty random, right? Well, nowadays they make these rollers here, and these rollers have the design cut in them. This is what's called a broadleaf roller. You want to dampen the roller first before you use it. Now once you've rolled out your texture like this, what you want to do is you want to go in the same direction every time. Now maybe you're saying, I can't see the design. On a wall, you would be able to see the design a lot better than just on a small area like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth that out for you so that you get a better idea of what the design is going to look like, okay? So again, you want to roll in the same direction. You see more of the design there? It's entirely possible that you would want to do it that way. Start with a smooth background and then have a more defined pattern. Another option, I'm going to use a trowel, and I'm going to use a knife here. Now what a trowel does is it gives you the opportunity to really lay it on heavy. Not too heavy, because you don't want it so heavy that it's going to crack on you. But if you have a problem wall, like down here, see this is a problem, you can easily hide these kind of imperfections. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it on kind of heavy here. Mud is the slang term for joint compound. I'm just going to lay it on here. And I'm going to do something called a skip trowel. And so a skip trowel is just a random design up. And that's what's called a skip trowel. And if you've noticed, that seam is completely hidden from view. And again, that's the beauty of using a texture. Well, I showed you just a regular finished trowel. This is what they call a midget trowel. And again, it's just left up to you what tool you want to use. This trowel here is a swimming pool trowel. It gives it a totally different look. You may want more of a pattern. So let me take my finished trowel here. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit so you can see the pattern. this is a regular tile trowel for putting down adhesive, but you can use it to put swirl patterns in. And really what it comes down to is being creative. Even a piece of plastic can create a pattern. You could use a sponge. If you're going to texture a wall, make certain it's just one hand. You don't want to do it in teams, believe it or not, because everybody does texturing different. Let me smooth this out. Now, so I've rolled that out. This is what's called a stipple brush. Some people call it a stucco brush. And it's really the way we used to apply texture to a ceiling. Now, a lot of people that do texture, they like to cut out the center of the brush to really give it more of a pattern. This brush hasn't been cut out, but it'll give you an idea of how a stucco brush is used. The beauty of texturing is it really gives you the opportunity to be creative and to use anything. You can use a plastic bag, you can use a brush, you can use a trowel. It's all about creating a texture that's unique to you, that you like. This is Leah saying, you can do this.